welcome to another edition of Rope Break. Again, we're coming back with another list. We're going to do, or should say dissect, another Instagram WWE list.
That's right.
Like before, we don't think that WWE does justice to some of their lists. So this time we're going to do Brock Lesnar's 5 greatest rivals. We'll go through what WWE thinks Brock Lesnar's greatest rivals are. Like before, there's only 5. And then we'll tell you what we think his greatest rivals are. So,
what does WWE has first for?
WWE in their list has at number 5 Roman Reigns, number 4 John Cena, number 3 Kurt Angle, number 2 Goldberg, and number 1 Undertaker. Now, for me, I think the only one here that they have right is the Undertaker.
Yep, the right spot. Yep, the right guy and the right spot.
Yes, they had many battles when he was young and a true wrestler, 2002 through 2004. And then when he did come back as well, they had several matches as well, where Lesnar broke the infamous streak, and afterwards. But, the other ones, Roman Reigns, I'm sorry, I know they feuded so many times where to the point I just didn't want to even watch their matches
anymore.
But they never had chemistry, to the point where I would consider him a great rival of Lesnar.
Nobody was really invested in that.
None. To the point where it became a disaster at last year's WrestleMania, where people were booing the hell out of that match. They were chanting CM Punk. They were
the balloon.
Yeah,
the ball, the beach ball,
the beach ball.
The beach ball, yes.
They were so they were so hell bent against that match, and of course WWE, what do? They just push ahead with it.
Yep. They give everything that we don't want to see.
And then after that, they do it again and again. That's why I don't think he deserves to be on this list.
So we're going to do first honorable mentions. Guys that we think that they had rivalries with Brock Lesnar, but they definitely didn't make the top 5.
Yes, and that's why we have Roman Reigns as an honorable mention. We have Goldberg as an honorable mention. He was number 2 on their list. Again, Goldberg, they had, 2 matches? And then they had that little bit of a fight in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But again, that did not, to me, make a rivalry. They had the one they had at 20.
The WrestleMania 20.
Where they, again, both were leaving the WWE. They got booed out of the building there. Then when you come back, and you had Goldberg had his comeback, and I'm sorry, that was horrendous with the however long that match was, the 30-second match.
Yep, 30 seconds.
That was just totally ridiculous to put the title on Goldberg. After that, then with Kevin Owens and everything, and then to have Lesnar take the title off Goldberg, just did not make any sense. I mean, Vince McMahon probably had a hard-on for that match. And the two, I'll say, had a decent match at Mania because at least they went around and tore up the...
They went at it. They it
did.
5 minutes, right?
At least.
5 minutes, but there was a back and forth.
The barricade broke with the spear.
Kicking out.
Because Lesnar at least took, I want to say, 3, maybe 4 spears.
Yeah.
And then I think he took even a jackhammer.
He kicked out from the jackhammer.
Yeah. But then, he took, was it 1 F5?
Yeah,
and done?
1 F5 and done.
So, I mean,
5 and done.
I don't consider that a rivalry.
It was just more talk than anything.
Yes.
So yeah, we don't really consider that as a great rivalry because also there was no evolution in the rivalry.
No.
There was no development of character. Great that like Goldberg came back because of that, but at the end, 16 seconds that destroyed the whole beast incarnate in Brock Lesnar, and also they feuded at the Rumble. He took him out of the Rumble, but then the Mania match, and that was it. That was the conclusion of it. They never really had like great chemistry with each other either.
No.
So yeah, that's what honorable mention for Goldberg. Honorable mention for Reigns because of the so many times that we seen that freaking match, and there will be a possibility that we'll see one more down the line.
I would think. I mean, they have a chance to do it again. I don't know why.
So
we've seen it so many times, and people just don't want to see it anymore.
Every time is even more difficult to watch.
Yes.
So. Yeah, in Roman, we understand is a Roman agenda. They do it for Roman, but we feel that like Brock Lesnar has had other type of rivalries that were much more meaningful. And another honorable mention is CM Punk.
Yes.
A short rivalry, but like the outcome of it, very strong.
It was. I think at least for the Lesnar we have now, who really doesn't wrestle, he just kind of throws people around. CM Punk was able to bring him to his best match of this current era of Brock Lesnar.
Or this current stint, yeah. Or the current, yeah. The Beast against the Best.
Yeah.
Even the name was catchy. The match that they had at SummerSlam 2013, great match from top to bottom. Paul Heyman was involved. You could see CM Punk was able to throw some offense at Brock Lesnar. He was even able to almost win with the GTS. Then Heyman fucked Punk over. At the end, Lesnar wins. But it was a great rivalry. And for how short it was really good.
Yeah.
That rivalry deserved even like another match.
I would say a rematch where Punk wins.
Where Punk get the win. But unfortunately, he went up to Ryback. Things went south on that. But see, even we as fans, we wouldn't want to see another match. Whereas Roman, we don't want to see that match ever again.
Yeah.
See the difference between the two. So then our number 5 pick was
Triple H.
Triple H.
Again, I don't know why he didn't make this list. Triple H and Lesnar, when Lesnar was brought back in 2012, these two went on so many. I mean, how many matches did these guys have?
I will say 3. SummerSlam 2012. Then they go WrestleMania 29, and then the rivalry kind of ends on Extreme Rules.
Right.
2013, yes.
So, and I think a lot of people were into this because Lesnar had just come back.
Yes.
And, you're trying to build the guy up, and they kind of fucked Lesnar up in the beginning by losing to Cena.
And he needed a win.
He needed a big win.
Yep.
And the fact that you had him then come back, and they did the whole Kimura lock thing where he's breaking people's arms left and right. But then at least Triple H was smart enough where you had to put him over. I didn't like the part where, he went over on Lesnar at WrestleMania, but at least these two did challenge each other several times, and the matches were interesting enough.
They were interesting enough for us fans, and also like you could see, at least there was a little bit of back and forth. Because see, Lesnar wins the first one, Triple H wins the second one, the third one, Lesnar gets the win, but that was because you needed to start building him up for what was supposed to come next for him. So it was a lot better. I remember when Triple H came back because Vince took the F5 and his leg was broken or something, and he came back already as Triple H, the cerebral assassin, instead of like the COO and all of that. That was great. So it was a good storyline continuation because like Lesnar did a Kimura lock and broke his arm or some stuff from the storytelling. So it was good. So to me and Ryan, that makes number 5 because at least it was way better than the Goldberg and the Roman Reigns thing.
Yes. Now, number 4, we're going way back in history here to Big Show. This is their rivalry stemming back to like the 2002-2003 era.
Yep.
Where they had just, to me, even though Big Show was a big guy, he moved very well in the ring at that time.
He could still do it.
He could. And they had a lot of great moments.
Yes.
Breaking the ring.
That's the one of them.
You know, there was a moment too on SmackDown. This is when Paul Heyman was writing for SmackDown and just did a great job. You know, that was when SmackDown was at its best. One of the better moments too was when Big Show set up for a huge choke slam through the announce table. He had the steel steps and he just choke slammed the hell out of Brock Lesnar. Another one too where they were setting up for their match at Survivor Series, and he choke slammed Lesnar off the stage.
Oh yeah.
And that was, you know, Lesnar had the bruised ribs and stuff. And then that set up for, could Lesnar even F5 Big Show because he was so big. And he was able to do it at Survivor Series, and everybody thought he was going to win, and then Paul Heyman turned. He turned on Lesnar, and Heyman became Big Show's
manager. And Big Show became champion.
So
he got the title from Lesnar. It was a great rivalry that continued, and then even Kurt Angle was involved in Vengeance, and they kept having really good matches. There's a, what is it called? There's a match on Judgment Day between Big Show and Lesnar.
Oh, the stretcher match.
Yes, the stretcher match.
Yes. Yep, they had the stretcher match, and that was to see who would get into the Royal Rumble, I thought.
Yeah.
I want
Number
to say.
30 or?
No, I just think it was an entry.
Okay.
I think it was just to see who could get in.
But it was, and then they went back at it when Lesnar came back. The matches were not as great. Big Show had to put over Lesnar many times.
Yeah.
But that little time is when they could go toe to toe together.
That was.
And the fact that the Big Show was able to get a championship reign out of that, it was great. Because the Big Show is one of the few guys that has held every single title in every single promotion that he's ever been.
Yep.
So, it was great, I think. And the fact that they broke the ring, that's for us is one of the biggest moments. Even we mentioned that on the SmackDown biggest moments of all time.
Yes.
So that's why he made the number 4 spot.
No doubt. And I think that should have been the only time that the ring was broken. But
well, yeah, we really thought about that. Not the other 3,000 times that it's been broken before.
Yes.
But moving along, we have more rivalry number 3.
And that is John Cena. These two have duked it out a lot. You can go all the way back to Lesnar when he was a babyface in 2003, I believe.
Yeah, Backlash.
And Cena was his rapper gimmick.
Doctor.
And I really enjoyed the Doctor Thugonomics, and that's when Cena really started to gain traction in the WWE. But they had a decent match then, but they're more known for their rivalry when Lesnar came back in 2012 because
the Raw after Mania.
Raw after Mania, when he came out, Lesnar came out to Cena and F5'd him, and that got a huge pop.
Oh yeah,
one of the bigger pops that I've heard in recent memory, anyway. And that led to, again, we mentioned it earlier. It led to Extreme Rules, where, of course, I don't know why they had Cena go over. It should have been Lesnar going over.
Till this day, it's so impossible to understand that decision.
I don't know.
When, Lesnar should have been over. Even the whole match, Lesnar beats the shit out of Cena. 1 FU, and done.
Where now, he hits the FU 45 times and people are kicking out.
So, it was... And how are you going to try to make Lesnar look like a credible character if he's not able to beat John Cena?
Yeah. But they did have other matches where, again...
They made it out with the SummerSlam.
Where he took, 18 German suplexes?
18 German suplexes.
And he just beat the shit out of Cena. And ended up winning the title. And that, I give credit to Cena for that, for putting Lesnar over like that. That took a lot of...
That was the beginning of the beast. The continuation, I would say, because the beginning is Taker.
Yes.
The breaking the streak, and then the progression, getting him the title, the Beast Incarnate, and all of that started like that was how they keep building up on that. And I agree with you. Cena was able to put him over probably because of the thing that happened on the Stream Rules.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a rematch at the Clash of Champions.
That's when Rollins interfered though with the Money in the Bank, right?
I think so. Yeah, because it was another good match though. They had like their matches are not bad.
Mm-hmm.
See, they did always had chemistry.
Well, Cena to me is one who kind of like seemed to get a little bit better with age.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of progressed. I want to say because he did have some decent matches. He just had to. It depended who he was in the ring with. Always to me.
Yeah, I agree with that, and also they met one more time triple threat match Royal Rumble 2015, which it was a great match.
Oh, that was awesome match.
With the addition of Seth Rollins. So that was the last time that they crossed paths. But I feel that like it was a great rivalry, and both of them, if you think about it, also like their special moves or their finishers are kind of like in
They're
the
very
same.
similar.
Yeah, you know, the FU and the F5. See, I think the FU had the name of that has some kind of connection with the F5. So I think you can see the chemistry between the two of them. So that's why Cena is our number 3 in the rivalries, because he was always able to get good matches out of Brock Lesnar.
Number 2, and I don't know why he was number 3 on the other list. Number 2 is Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, back when Lesnar could run and gun, could wrestle in 2002, 2003. Now these were 2003 matches. Holy hell. Some of the best matches I have ever seen. Especially, now if you start the rivalry, it was leading up to WrestleMania 19. Very good story. You know, these guys, both competitive wrestlers. You know, Angle obviously with the Olympic gold, and Lesnar in college at Minnesota. And both could wrestle. Even though Lesnar was so big, he could wrestle a very good match. Angle as well. And they both put on extremely good matches. WrestleMania 19 was a very good match. They both put on a great match. The spot everybody knows at 19 is Lesnar going off the top with the shooting star and missing.
Star press, yep.
That, of course, was the idiot John Laurinaitis who told Lesnar to do that. I don't know why on earth he would tell him to do that. Lesnar used to do it when he was in OVW.
Yep. That was his finisher.
That was his finisher in OVW.
Yes.
Before
the F5.
But Lesnar had told him he hadn't done it for years, so why would he do it? You need to do it because you need a big spot. And, you know, for people who don't know, the ropes are oiled very heavily. So Lesnar went up, slipped when he did it, and almost died. Pretty much.
And where is the famous line that comes out of that?
Well, you can tell them because it pisses me off.
Oh, like, yeah, the lights were on, but nobody was home.
Oh, I thought you were going to say wrestling's fake.
Oh, no.
Because people piss me off when they say wrestling's fake. That always pisses me off.
Oh, no, like, you can tell that, like, when he wins the title, he's so zoned out.
Oh.
He doesn't even remember.
If anybody has never seen that match, just watch the end of it. When you see his face, what he just said. The lights are on, but nobody
was home. And also, Kurt Angle had to whisper to him what to do. Because he was so out of it that he didn't know what followed after that.
He had a major concussion, and I seriously don't know how he did live after that. If you don't think Brock Lesnar is a beast, you are fucking wrong.
No, that made it the beast for you, for Brian and I, after that the rivalry continued to SummerSlam.
It led to a very good rivalry because Angle actually came back as the babyface because he played the heel at WrestleMania. At 19. Angle came back as the babyface, and Lesnar turned heel, actually being kind of like Vince McMahon's lackey.
Mm-hmm.
They made him kind of look a little bullshit at SummerSlam when they wrestled, because Angle ended up winning the title in a triple threat match, right?
Oh no, SummerSlam is a 1-on-1.
But I mean, Angle was the champion already. So
Yes.
Lesnar had ended up losing the
Yes.
title in the triple threat
Yes.
match
Yes.
before that.
Yeah, with Big Show.
Right?
With Big Vengeance. Vengeance, yes. Yes.
Because I remember Angle won it with the Angle Slam.
Yes, to Big Show. Yes.
And
then they go 1-on-1 on SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam.
Yep. For the title.
But Lesnar looks a little bullshit because he taps out.
Yeah. Because then Angle does the Olympic Slam on Vince and also on Lesnar, and then he does the ankle lock, and that's why the day after that they kept going, "You tap out."
Yep.
You tap out.
The only good thing is, unlike WWE today, where you see, they like Ronda when she puts the armbar on, they tap out like in
9 seconds. Not even she's done up putting the hole.
With this, Lesnar was in the ankle lock for probably 5 minutes.
Yes.
Which at least is credible to tap out in. That's the same way Benoit tapped out in 2003 to the ankle lock. He was in the ankle lock for an incredibly long time, which to me, at least you're credible for tapping out if you're in a submission for so long.
It is more credible.
Because
it's like you've been like in that excruciating pain for such a long time.
Yes.
And of course, with the flow of the match, then your legs are going to be tired, so of course you're going to tap out.
Yeah.
Instead of 2 seconds and...
But then, to me, their best match is not even a match that's on pay-per-view. If you want, you can go back and watch it on the WWE Network for only $9.99.
$9.99.
There's your plug, WWE.
Thank you.
Is the Iron Man match they had on SmackDown. That match is incredible. That's probably my favorite Iron Man match of all time.
Probably your best match of all time.
It's a fucking incredible match. Those two, giving them an hour. Imagine that, an hour on a 2-hour show. Just incredible. And those two tore the fucking house down. So incredible. And if anybody hasn't seen it, I urge you to go watch it. Because those two were amazing.
It's one of the matches that will make you a wrestling fan.
Oh, yes.
When you see that, you'll see, oh my gosh, this sport is so great because they were able to tell a great story. But see, it's a combination of everything. Even Michael Cole in the commentary, those two put in a clinic, Taz, everything. That's
when Michael Cole could tell a story on commentary because he and Taz together were great. I don't think Michael Cole has been the same since they moved him away from Taz.
Yes. No, right now he's just very, very crappy, cringy. I don't think Corey Graves does him any favors. But Taz and Michael Cole were able to have a chemistry.
Yes.
And it's like Taz always picked up from the Michael Cole, the gaps that he had. So it's a great match. It's a fantastic match and is ranked in many other shows, podcasts as the best match in television history.
I would not disagree.
It's the best match that WWE ever put on from free television. And that brings us to our number 1 pick.
This one's not to me.
It's a no-brainer.
It is, and WWE got it right with Undertaker. These two had so many good matches. I like the early matches that they had in Lesnar's career when he was younger. 2002, 2003. The Hell in a Cell match that they had was so fantastic.
Great.
One of my favorite Hell in a Cell matches.
Great.
You could say what they had, the biker chain match.
They had the rivalry starts after SummerSlam, when the rivalry with Angle is over.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he wins the title right after the Iron Man match. And then they go, the first match that they have is an Unforgiven. 2003, and then Undertaker gets disqualified, and then he throws them into the Unforgiven, the logo and stuff, and then they go to the Hell in a Cell, and then Biker's Chain. 3 great matches, being the Hell in a Cell the most memorable one out of the 3, because the Biker's Chain McMahon interferes. I really don't like that too much. But the first Hell in a Cell that they had together, absolutely great. Even Paul Heyman gets involved. He gets busted open.
Yep.
And then you can hear him screaming. It's a great match. He counters the Tombstone into the F5.
It's amazing because he actually throws him on his shoulders after, he has him, counters the Tombstone, he has him in almost like he's going for a power slam and throws him into the F5 position and F5s him.
And also, like, if you remember little details about that, Ryan, the use of the cast.
Yes.
Because Matt Hardy, he's having a match with Taker, and Lesnar comes out. He hits him with a gas tank.
Yes, that's where I remember that with when they're in the backstage
yes,
area.
a backstage area, gas tank, and then Taker is done, and then he comes back with a cast, and then Stephanie allows Taker to use the cast.
That's what I never understood about the storyline, because Hell in a Cell is no holds barred, so why would anybody fucking care about a cast?
Exactly, and also like Taker, every time that will punch, he'll be in pain too. Yeah. But that was a great storytelling also. Then this brings us back to the time that Lesnar comes back, and they didn't cross paths at all until 2014 when he challenged Taker for the streak.
Yep.
And there were many reports on 2010 when he fought Cain Velasquez. There's a interview that Taker's having, and they have a stare down. And Taker goes to him, "You want to do it?" And then he just retrieves and goes back. So it was great to see that. And then, for me as an Undertaker fan, I still am a little salty about the decision of having Lesnar break the streak, because to me that took a lot of Undertaker's aura, but it did a lot to Brock Lesnar.
It did. I was not a fan of it either, especially since... Now, don't get me wrong. After it happened, Lesnar went on a great run. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to capitalize on that forever. Because you look at Lesnar, he's not the same.
Nope.
Okay, he has had a very shitty Universal title run twice.
2 really shitty, or 3 times I will say.
Yeah.
3 times.
So I'm sorry, but you know the only time he's been relevant with the WWE title was his first time that he came back and won it, and you know that's because he won this. You know he beat Taker with the streak, and then with beating John Cena and everything the way he did made him look really badass. Other than that, I don't think the streak should have been conquered, because the streak meant a whole hell of a lot more than just making Brock Lesnar look good.
Many people actually tuned in for WrestleMania just to see who was challenging the streak.
Oh, yeah.
The streak became such an asset that it was probably, in some instances, even better and bigger than WrestleMania itself.
For me, I would have had him beat Lesnar, because to me you're not doing anything to Lesnar, and then you would have had Taker face Sting next year,
and then it would have been done. Because that's one of the things that like we still have to deal with, that Taker still shows up at WrestleMania. But at least if the streak will be on the line, it will be something to look forward to, rather than why is he here.
It is meaningless now, because when he does show up, nobody... To me, if you do still care about Taker showing up, you're kind of dumb, because it's meaningless now without the streak.
It's not the same. It took a lot. Like, Taker lost a lot after when the streak was over. But if you ask me, a great moment that they retook the rivalry is when Battleground, he showed up in the middle of the match with Seth Rollins. And then that led for that feud for SummerSlam 2015. Which, to me, build-up was amazing. Match itself was not too great. Taker looked semi-decent. Lesnar looked okay. And then ended the rivalry on the Hell in a Cell of that same year. Which it was good. It was a decent Hell in a Cell. The best, I will say, best spot of the night is when both of them were bleeding. And the doctor was trying to stop the blood, and then
Lesnar
he pushed him over.
Yeah.
Because to us, Hell in a Cell needs to have blood in it.
Hell in a Cell needs to have carnage.
Exactly. That's why it's called Hell in a Cell.
You need to have a lot of carnage in it. You need to have blood. You need to have wreckage. You need to have weapons. You need to have stuff like that. Go back and watch Mick Foley flying off the fucking cage. Okay? The dude actually continued the fucking match with a separated shoulder, okay? Bruised kidney, concussion, fucking tooth went through his lip. The dude wasn't crying about it.
And
Okay.
on top of that, like, he used the thumbnails.
Yeah, he used the fucking thumbtacks and got choke slammed on him.
Yes.
Okay, the dude was still wrestling.
Yep.
Okay, and then you got this year or last year, whatever the fuck it was, when fucking Lesnar comes in, F5's Roman Reigns and fucking Braun Strowman, and the match is stopped.
Exactly.
What the fuck has happened to WWE product?
Or when Mick Foley went over the, when he went through the cell again with Triple H. This time as Cactus Jack, the match didn't stop.
No.
What happened after that? Triple H lifts him up, pedigree, and done. Because Hell in a Cell, you need to have a pinfall.
To be Hell in a Cell, okay, it's no holds barred.
Exactly.
Okay, so that means anything goes. Fucking Foley during the match you talked about lit a goddamn 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire on fire. Okay, it's not going to stop.
Exactly right. What was in the first Hell in a Cell? Who fucking debuted?
Yes, Kane.
Kane, because it's no holds bar. He broke the cage.
But again, Shawn Michaels was a bloody mess in that.
Exactly.
As Jim Ross would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every Hell in a Cell needs, even the ones talking about a current rivalry, Batista against Triple H. They use the barbed wire
Around the chair.
around the chair.
Yep.
And both of them were like bleeding.
Yep.
And those were the days where Triple H, after every single match, will be like a bloody mess. They understood why they need to like bleed.
That's where WWE severely misses TV 14. They at least need that to be a little more racy. You don't need fucking rated R, but you need TV 14, and you need to garner, and you need to at least reach a different audience.
Exactly, and also be more believable.
You do.
Because if you're gonna call that match Hell in a Cell, if you're not gonna use any of the things that we've said, just call it a cage match.
First of all, you don't need Hell in a Cell as a pay-per-view. Get rid of Hell in a Cell as a pay-per-view as a whole. Get rid of TLC as a pay-per-view as a whole. Get rid of Extreme Rules as a pay-per-view. You know, get rid of all of those and call them different pay-per-views because you don't use them correctly.
Call names that they used to have before. Unforgiven. No Mercy. Give me more songs.
Well, for me, dude, okay. TLC takes place, like, near Halloween. Call it Halloween Havoc.
Exactly.
Okay?
You have the rights for the WCW
Right.
names.
Halloween Havoc. When you have a gimmick pay-per-view in the summertime, like Extreme Rules, Bash at the Beach.
Or the Great American Bash, like they did a few years ago.
So, do that.
If you're closing the year, Armageddon.
Yeah.
Don't TLC, no Hell in a Cell, because you don't need like gimmick pay-per-views. Because the Hell in a Cell used to be the final chapter for any rivalry.
And they don't use that properly anymore.
They don't use that. And you know, you and me know that like when those words came out, it meant something.
Yes.
Because it's you, like Mick Foley says, you don't give me any other choice. And there's a pause, there's silence. Hell in a Cell. Try to replicate that now.
For me, take away the pay-per-view of Hell in a Cell and get rid of it for a while. Then bring it back.
TV 14.
Yes, when you actually have a rivalry that needs it, and try to make it credible again. Same way with the rest of your matches, okay? Because you need it to be credible again.
Exactly.
We got off on a tangent. I'm sorry.
It's okay,
This
but
is
that's
supposed to be about Lesnar.
That's how we finish this. I hope you like it. If you have any other
Suggestions,
suggestions,
comments.
fighters that we have not mentioned, let us know.
Yep.
So we hope that you keep subscribing to our channel. It's Road Break on YouTube. And also we hope that you can see us on Facebook. And we'll see you pretty soon. Ada!